this weekend podcast that we're not doing this week.
Jesus doesn't think you're a freak, or if he does, he thinks you're a freak in a good way.
Trust me, you two, I know what normal talk is.
Well, I'm Adam Holz, and I am with Plugged In, and we are a part of Focus on the Family. So thanks for taking some time to talk to our Plugged In audience today. I have with me today Joel Courtney and Anna Grace Barlow and Jonathan Roumie, who are 3 stars of the new movie, Jesus Revolution. So, 2-part question to start things off. Tell me a little bit about each of your characters and the spiritual journey that they are on. And then, what was it like to prepare for a character who's based on a real person? Does that change your preparation at all, as opposed to, just a fictional character that's being scripted?
Down the line?
Yeah,
They're both looking at you, John.
Okay.
So I think you're the man.
Sure, I'll start. Gladly. So I play Lonnie Frisbee, and Lonnie was a very complex human being. He suffered a lot from the age of 3 on, really, as a kid. He was abused and all sorts of stuff. So he carried a lot of wounds with him that eventually surfaced here and there. And you start to see, like more later in his life, but you start to see the beginnings of that in this film, which to me was just fascinating. And as an actor, you're like, okay, how do I make that real? How do I relate to that? And it's the exciting part of a journey as an actor is to try to encapsulate all aspects of a person's humanity, as flawed as it is. And how was it playing somebody that was real? So playing a real life person, knowing that there are these flaws or these weaknesses, but telling the story we're telling, for me, it's just trying to find a delicate balance to honor him as a person, to honor his memory, and to highlight, especially given the story that we're telling, the things that he accomplished during this movement and the movement that resulted because of the things that he did, which were, in this case, bringing all these teenagers and these kids, these hippies, to Jesus and showing them their worth in God.
I play Greg Laurie, and he's a kid in the late 60s where there's this countercultural movement that he's kind of drawn to. He's got some familial issues. His dad's not with them. His mom is kind of all over the place and not really available to him emotionally as a mother. She struggles in that aspect of their relationship. And getting to have a conversation with Greg because he was on set so often was truly a treasure.
Ask about that.
Yes, he was on set with us so many days, and it was a little nerve-wracking at first couple days, but he was such a wealth of knowledge and information to the time, and my character, because he is my character.
Right.
And so how cool is it, between takes, be like, hey, what was the thing that got you out of bed on some days? What was the thing that you kind of struggled with? And when you have a conversation, how do you handle conversation? Those kind of questions for him. And he was amazing. It was such a blessing to have him available. And I'm so thankful for his openness, his honesty, some brutal conversations. And he really was just such a huge inspiration, obviously, to this character, and just encouraging of me in the role.
It's so cool that that he's right there.
I know. I know.
Talk to him,
I mean, imagine if Jesus were on set with was it like this?
He was.
I couldn't
see him.
resist. I had to have one
That's
Jesus
right.
joke. And now Anna Grace.
I played Kathy Laurie. She's very headstrong. She was very much a part of the countercultural movement, and she kind of pulled Greg into it. And she, like so many people, had a near-death experience of somebody that she loved very much and had to reckon with her, humanity and where is God, what is the meaning of all of this. And that just leads her on this path to finding Calvary Chapel, bringing Greg along and their journey together to faith and to each other. And to echo Joel, having Kathy there, incredible. Like, what are your favorite songs? Like, you can listen to those songs and be like, Kathy would have loved this. And knowing what she was thinking when she got baptized, those kind of things are like invaluable information for an actor. You have this subtext where it's thoughts you can cycle in your brain during scene. Unreal. But I'll use that to compliment Jonathan, because you get to build out the world of your character, and it feels kind of like I was like lazy and didn't have to do a lot of research because I could just ask a person. But he had to do this detailed, deep research to build out the world of this person and make them real. Whereas like for us, we had them as a tool there, and they were so supportive, and it was never scary. But I'll just use that to be like, Jonathan's the man. So that one, yeah.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Well, I'm not an actor, but I can imagine that when you step into the shoes of a character for a while, you have to kind of inhabit that character. And I'm curious, working on a film with such deep spiritual themes, if you'd be willing to share, I would love to hear how that impacted you personally, and maybe in a different way than other roles you've had in the past.
Yeah, I mean, there's a deep connection between Greg and his faith, and it's so personal to him, and it is for myself as well. So like that was kind of always something that I was able to immediately connect to my character, almost like getting into and understanding and knowing and living Greg. That was kind of like my first string. It was like the first obvious and like clear connection that we had. It's just like, sorry, I was just complete brain fart.
How did it impact?
Faith, yeah. It's just, it grounded me. I feel like I've been wanting to do a faith-based film, and this was like the perfect opportunity, I think, to, spread love and hope and the gospel.
Great.
I will say that I grew up Christian, and don't remember a time when I wasn't Christian, but I moved to New York City and met a lot of people from different backgrounds and became aware of people who had negative or painful experiences at church.
Yeah.
And it caused me to go to a place where I had my own personal relationship with God, but I became careful of how I spoke about it because I wanted to be considerate of those people, but then that's also a dichotomy. But what really drew me to this script was the message of this Christianity, this acceptance and love without judgment. Those are Jonathan's words, and I love them. It's what I wanted to spread and what I wanted to see, and that's what I believe. And so I'm really proud to be behind that message, and I'm reinvigorated and renewed in my faith and feel stronger than ever after, leaving the set and watching it. It's just so inspiring.
Thank you.
That's awesome. For me, I guess the impact was, it had this sort of mystical quality to it. So before we started production, I live here in Los Angeles, and I went to visit Lonnie's grave, and he's buried in Garden Grove at the Christ Cathedral, sorry. And so I decided I just wanted to pray with him, for him, and so I sat down and prayed this one afternoon, and just was talking to him, and I just, I wanted to get it right. He was such a powerful witness to God's gift of the Spirit in this world, in this realm. And so I wanted to make sure that everything was all signed and sealed, and if there was some sort of tacit approval that I could get from him, that I would go to him with this. And I said, look, Lonnie, I'm going to do this film, and I want to honor your memory in the best way possible. And if you and God are on board with this, give me a sign. And no sooner had those words left my mouth than behind me was the cathedral. The door was open. Immediately, this giant organ chord rings out for 5 seconds.
Wow.
I'm like, I hadn't heard it before. I didn't hear it again. I'm like, okay, all right, let's go.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's, there was a couple of things that happened, and that was the beginning. And so I felt that, like, okay, I think my spirit is right. My attitude going into this is prepared, and hopefully, in the right place. My heart is hopefully in the right place to just basically communicate the love of God through this character and the amazing things that he did in his life.
All right. Thank you guys so much for
Thank you.
talking to me
Appreciate
today.
it, man.
Thank you.